Recently my buddy James asked me what my greatest evidence for the Christian faith was. And I lined up my arguments for the existence of God, the integrity of Scripture, the reality of Jesus. And I looked at James and I said, man, my number one evidence for the Christian faith has got to be you. See, my buddy James had been through a tough life. When I met him, he was living in a drug den. He was a meth addict. I could barely put words together. He couldn't even really put coherent thoughts together. He had a really tough situation. But rather than belabor that point, I realized that the number one evidence for the Christian faith is transformed lives. It's transformed hearts, transformed minds. It's profound for the people that have experienced the Christian faith for themselves personally. I went back in history and I looked at some of the great apologetic thinkers from Augustine, Aquinas, Pascal, and I checked out their stories. And it's a really profound topic. Take Thomas Aquinas, for instance, in the 1200s AD. A definitive apologetic source, Summa Theologica, right? 38-volume treatise. He answered like 10,000 questions across all these, over almost 4,000 subsections. It's a profound work even to this day. But when it really came down to it, Thomas Aquinas had one transformational experience in his life. He was in a mass as a Roman Catholic, and he had this almost mystical experience that people describe. He almost went into a trance. And later, the Roman Catholic Church tried to get him to come back to writing his Summa Theologica. They're like, this is profound apologetic work. You have to return to this work. And this was his response. I can do no more. Such secrets have been revealed to me that all I have written now appears to be of little value. You see, he had experienced something spiritually, something emotionally, transformationally, that no arguments, no debate, no apologetic could even compare to. Then I jumped to Pascal, who's one of my heroes, Blaise Pascal, a great mathematician, a great scientist. He was debating all these great thinkers in the 1600s in Europe, these so-called enlightened ones, right, on the existence of God and the Christian faith. And he also had a profound experience by himself, by his fireplace one night, where for 3 hours, he just fire, as he described. God of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, fire. And he really got it. And he wrote this experience down on a piece of paper. He actually sewed it into his jacket pocket, right over his heart. And from that point forward, he knew that his spiritual experience was the most profound evidence that he would ever have. And he wrote at the end of his life, the heart has its reasons that reason knows not of. Now that's profound. Now, when I talk about apologetic arguments for the existence of God and the integrity of the Bible, the truth of Jesus Christ, come on, Dawkins, Hitchens, Harris, if I bring up transformed life as my number one apologetic evidence, they're going to laugh at me. They have no clue. The critic, the cynic, the skeptic doesn't hear transformed heart as any kind of evidence. But for those of us who have had a personal experience with God, we know that that's our number one evidence for his truth, his mercy, his love, and his forgiveness.